She got there on the first day of the week, he is already gone. That's reading Matthew 28. See, they got you thinking Christ rose on Sunday. No, by the time she got there on the first day, he was already gone. Meaning he rose on Saturday, the Sabbath. Count back 3 days and 3 nights again, you see him put together. That's what happened. They got us thinking Good Friday to Sunday morning. That is not biblical at all. That's not in the Bible. Matthew 12:40, Christ said himself, I'm going to be in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. You cannot get there from Friday, Good Friday, what they call Good Friday, right, to Sunday morning. That is impossible. So showing another fallacy of the Roman Catholic Church is not in the Bible. We all grew up doing that. Easter speeches, you feel me, powder blue suits and all that madness. But we thought that's what it was, but that is not the truth. All right, Matthew 28. Matthew 28.
Matthew 28, verse 1. Anybody there?
And realize early on the first day of the week will be the end of the 7th day of the week. Like when the sun drop on Saturday.
What manner of book is this?
No, that's a Jehovah's Witness body.
Oh, they done took. Yeah, they don't believe in the resurrection.
Matthew chapter 28 we're going to.
Hey, look, that's another thing you have to be very careful about, y'all, with these people. They done rewritten these books from their personal beliefs. I just tripped out.
Yeah, I got some of those books around because I used to study.
Because they don't believe in the resurrection.
Right.
So they took it out. And then when we read that Revelation end of the count, man, if you add or take away from this word, yo, they took their names out the book of life.
You miss a fool. Yeah.
You follow these people? I'm not saying it to you to be derogatory. No, I'm not saying it to be derogatory. Question anybody who starts removing parts of the Bible.
Take it out.
You just signed your own death with me.
And we can go in there and show you as many scriptures they got in there that's missing. Like, and they ain't even covering it up. It skipped from verse 10. Don't even go to 11. From 10 to 12.
They use Jehovah instead of Lord. They said Jehovah, so and they said that's all they changed in the Bible. That's what they had. So
let's get this Matthew 28.
Matthew 28.
Matthew 28, verse 1.
This is second witness. And I remember it said it was dark in the other one. Right? That's still early on the first day of the week, because early on the first day of the week is the end of the 7th day. When the sun drops on Saturday night, you think it's the end of Saturday. It's really the beginning of Sunday. According to the biblical understanding, when the sun drops, it's a new day. And if you take it back to Genesis chapter 1, what it said the evening and the morning was another day. From evening to morning, that's how you gauge a day. Not from 12:01.
What if it wasn't a sunny day that day? So you would just go by.
But even when it's not a sunny day, you still know.
We still know when it's dark. You know when the sun, you know when it's dark outside.
Oh yeah.
You know, hey, it's a new day around us. But you know, on average, it usually was around 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. So that would be the end of the 7th day and early or the beginning of the first day. All right, come on, bro. Let's get it. Matthew 28.
Matthew 28.
Yeah.
In the end of the Sabbath.
At the
Sabbath,
what?
In the end of the Sabbath.
The Sabbath ends Saturday night, sundown.
Night.
That's the beginning of the first day of Sunday. End of the Sabbath. Come on.
As it began to dawn towards the first day of the week.
As it started to begin to dawn toward what?
The first day of the week.
Come on.
Came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre.
Come on.
And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake, and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the woman, Fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Jesus, which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen.
That's past tense, or is that present tense? What is risen?
He is not here, for he is risen.
That's past
tense.
But he would have said he's rising now.
Right.
The angel said, look, he already gone. And so to know when he was gone, verse 1 says, in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week. That's when she got there. So before she got there, he was already gone.
Because she wouldn't win on the Sabbath. And we read the stories before that. We understood that's why they had to hurry up and get the body into the earth, because the Sabbath was coming and we forbidden to do any work on the Sabbath. So.
And what's crazy is...
So in the earth or in the cave?
In the cave. They had him in the sepulchre, in the tomb.
His body risen. So there's no burial ground for him.
No, it's not. They claim they found where Christ was buried years ago, and that turned out to be
false. They pulled that little box out.
Yeah, that's false.
They uncovered because see that was a common practice with the Romans at that time. They put them in sepulchres. That's why you have those catacombs now in the Vatican. That was just the way that they. Just the way they did.
Notice he said he is not here. He already gone right now. Check this out and break it down. This was Passover week when Christ died. It wasn't Easter. It was Passover week. All right. So he was in the grave Wednesday before sundown. In the grave. Matthew 12:40 says he was in the tomb of the grave 3 days and 3 nights. You got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. By the time they got there on Sunday, he was already gone. It's not Good Friday.
You can't do it from Friday.
That's madness. Because they don't know the day after Passover, believe it or not, is a Sabbath. A high Sabbath. Even if it don't land on Saturday. Our feast days were still considered a high Sabbath days. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord got more than just a weekly Sabbath. When Passover comes, when we do the Passover March 27th, the very next day is considered a Sabbath day. That's the first day of unleavened bread. He had to be off that cross, prepped, and into the tomb before the beginning of the first day of unleavened bread, because that was a Sabbath day. 3 days and 3 nights from there, he was about the grave. See, so we ain't talking Sunday Christianity sunrise service. That ain't in here. What happened? He was in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. By the time they got there to check on him, already gone. And Matthew 12:40 tells you how long he was in there. Also, Jonah chapter 1 as well.
Or did we satisfy you?
Yeah. Come on, let's keep going.
No, he said
No,
he said he ain't satisfied.
It's not a problem with that. All right, the time of date, I actually learned something. All right,
all praise.
about the time of date. I mean, thank you for that. Problem is you have 2 different accounts, okay, of the same story.
What you mean?
In one account, all right, she goes there, sees the stone gone, right? Okay, where my man? Looks around, runs back, tells the other fellas, hey, look, he ain't there. Well, where is he? I have no idea. Well, let's go see. Second account, all right? They all go there.
No, it wasn't all. It was Mary and Mary.
Mary and Mary, all right?
Yeah, it wasn't all.
And the rest of them came later?
Yeah. We need to go ahead and read on down.
Yeah, go ahead and read down.
We need to go ahead and read clear. And then, when you see Mary and Mary, that's verse 1, y'all. In that 28.
Let's go to 6.
All of them.
We have verse 6. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come see the place where the Lord lay, and go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead.
So it was not all.
And that's the same thing they said in the other one. They went with the disciples.
Yeah, John chapter 20, same thing.
But this time we get angels.
Yeah.
Last time we didn't have angels.
Oh, because the detail of the angel coming down from heaven wasn't in the last one. You saying it's a conflicting account?
Oh, I got no problem with that.
Oh, okay.
All right. My problem is, okay, it's just 2 different.
They're not different. They're the same.
What's different? One has a lot more details than the other.
So now we're dealing with this. Now I'm glad we at this point. So what you have to do is show us how it's different. That's all.
As I said before, in one account, all right, the stone is not moved. Right? In the second account, the stone has moved. She finally gets the courage to go in. All right? Now, this is Mary and Mary. First of all, it's just Mary. Now it's Mary and Mary. She's not alone.
But the report is not conflicting.
This, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and read it. I gave us the Bible verse. But I'm going to read the part about knowledge and the Bible's understanding. Because I don't want you to miss what's going on. You're looking at detailed accounts.
Let me read this right fast, right?
Go ahead.
Now, where y'all at?
That's Matthew 28. I was going to go back to John 20.
Oh, I'm there too, right there.
Go
All right,
ahead.
let me read this first verse again. It say, the first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early.
So we're in agreement on both of those when it happened.
Yeah. When it was yet dark, unto the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre.
So now, there your question asked about the stone. You said the stone wasn't rolled?
Yeah. So now right now it's showing that it was taken away.
It's taken away.
Yeah, that's in your first account.
So who took it away?
That's in the John account.
That's in the John and in the Matthew.
Same thing.
It shows you in the Matthew how it got took away.
That's all.
It says she see the stone taken away.
That's it. It's just giving you more.
Matthew 28 shows you how it was.
Okay, now look. When you get to verse 12 of this same chapter, right? It says, well, I'm gonna start at 11. It say, verse 11 say, but Mary stood without the sepulchre weeping. And as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre, and seeth two angels in white sitting, and the one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain.
Okay, so now.
So there go the angels again. So you got the angels.
So now what we're dealing with is we here having a session about the Bible. I'm telling somebody about it. There's a lot of us there, some brothers and sisters there. We shouldn't talk about the Bible. And somebody else told the story. Yeah, we been talking about the Bible. It was a brother that brought some Popeyes in. Is our stories conflicting, or did he just expound on him bringing Popeyes?
Like, in other words,
there's no difference.
Like, say with somebody, say sister right here speak about what happened today, right here, what we having, right? I'm speaking about what happened today. Because this is her husband, she speaks on the fact that he brought chicken through. You heard me? I might not mention it when I break down my details.
We brought these books.
That wasn't significant to me that he brought Popeye's chicken either. You feel me? So just because one has more detail per se than the other, don't mean the accounts are conflicted.
Because we're still here.
Yeah.
As a group, we're still discussing the Bible as a group. That's the meat of the story. So the meat of both of those stories that he's written.
Yeah. Like I might not mention it was a gloomy day.
We agreed on Sabbath. We agreed. You're right. We might even mention how we had a hard time opening the window, how we set up. You know, it just depends on who's going to give that more detailed account. Right. But see, the Bible has to be true to itself because, again, and we're going to go back and give you that. Actually, we need to. So we understand in the mouth of 2 to 3 witnesses, let everything be established. Yeah. This is how the Bible teaches us. And that's why I say it's important that I'm going to go back and read that Isaiah 28. Because those are 2 witnesses. That's one verifying the other. You see what I'm saying? If you have a vision, it says right. You know what I'm saying? So it bears witness. So that's what it is. And so I'm going to hit this Isaiah 28.
Yeah, I'm going to grab 2 Corinthians 13 and back.
Okay. And so when I'm going out, Isaiah 20, I gave this to y'all earlier. I just want us to understand how we're supposed to be understanding the Bible. So we just, again, we know both of them was at the Sabbath, end of the Sabbath.
Angels.
We know both had angels.
The stone was taken away.
We know both that all of them weren't there. All the disciples weren't there like we thought originally. Right. And we also agree that all the angels were there. So there's no conflict in it. But, and that was your premise, that it was conflicting.
Because it's more detail in one than the other, which is understandable. But when you get into more detail than the other, it's like comparing news agents. Fox News didn't mention this about the towers dropping, but CNN did. Who do you believe more?
Or is it not a fact?
It is a fact. The towers dropped. The towers dropped. They thought Osama bin Laden hit the towers. You heard me? That's what we're talking about here. You mentioned something about perspective earlier, right? Certain things may rest on you more about this setting than what rests with me. Being that you facing the window, you may be talking about it was a gloomy day outside. Again, brother 2 bought in chicken. You heard me? Me, because I'm so focused on the script, I didn't even mention bro bringing in chicken in. Or even tripped about it being gloomy outside.
Now mine I had to go pick 2 people up.
I wouldn't even mention that. But because he has more detail about today's sitting, and you got more detail than mine, does that make my account false?
Or is it 2 conflicting stories? It's not 2 conflicting stories.
It's more detail, more detail to what it is. That's all it is.
I mean, you get there when you even speaking 2 things, you have another witness there with you. Yeah. Somebody may say something that you just left out. Yeah. But then when you both explain it to somebody, you get that. Yeah, that's you right.
You know what, that did
happen.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? So even you was there, you got to be reminded of certain things that went on when you explain it to somebody. That did happen like that. Yeah.
You know, stuff like that come through that food. I'm going to take part of it.
Yeah, read it Isaiah 28. Like, now, y'all, these are the rules on how you study and read the Bible. Because anybody can pick up and say, oh, man, I've been reading the Bible. We hear it all the time. And then we ask them simple question, what's the whole duty of man? Because you read the Bible. If you study with us, you learn that the first day. Fear God, keep His commandments. But you know how many people that got degrees in religion and can't even answer that? And that's a basic scripture. You feel me? So let's get that. You got that? Isaiah 28.
Isaiah 28. Start at verse 10. Yeah. No, start at verse 9. Yeah. Whom shall He teach knowledge?
That's a question. Who shall the Lord teach knowledge? Right? Come on.
And this is important. And whom shall He make to understand doctrine?
Now, who is He going to make to understand doctrine? That doctrine means teachings. Question again, right? Come on.
them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
That's a baby, right? So in order to get this, you got to unlearn everything they taught you about this Bible and become as a baby and be retaught according to this. Those that are weaned from what?
From the breast. For precept must be upon precept.
Come on.
Precept upon precept. Line upon line. Line upon line.
Come on.
Here a little and there a little. For with his stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
So he say it got to be precept upon precept. I'll give y'all an example. We went to Jeremiah 31 and 31 earlier. And then we went to Hebrews 8 and 8, and it said the same thing. Those are two precepts that you match together. That's a line upon a line. And that way you know the new covenant is what? The new covenant is God's laws on your heart and in your mind, and it's going to the same people the old covenant was under. So that's how you study the Bible. Precept upon precept, or what we call 2 or 3 witnesses. This right here is 2 Corinthians 13 and 1. So he read it in the Old Testament. We're going to read it in the New. This is how you study the Bible. All right, 2 Corinthians 13 and 1. This is the third time I am coming to you. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. So you want to establish something as a fact or truth, you got to have 2 or 3 witnesses whose stories match up. It might not be in detail, every detail, but the moral of the story matches up. Right. Old boy came through here, tried to rob something, and got laid down. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Bro may say, nah, you know, he pulled the 40 out and popped it. You may have thought he pulled his Desert Eagle out. You know what I'm saying? But because everything, but what's the fact of the matter? He came through and tried to jack something, he got laid down. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man. That would be in court that would hold up. Even if you thought it was a 40 Glock and you thought it was a death, it's still gonna hold up in court because guess what? Old boy, Shadow Boy came through. And that's what we talking about, y'all.
Again, one thing you gotta know is that the Bible was scrolls that was put together.
Yeah.
So certain events happened without 2 witnesses being there at one time. But they were shown the same thing. So when these prophets was out speaking this one thing, they was told to write it down. Well, certain was told to write things down that years before you didn't see a prophet writing that same thing down. Or speaking of this same event, that these two don't have the same time and years to live with each other, but they speaking the same thing.
Proving that the spirit that's on them is the same spirit of the Most High.
Exactly.
We can give y'all another example.
Exactly.
We go to the prophecy in Moses about us coming into slavery by slave ships. That's in Deuteronomy 28. We was going to go back into slavery by slave ships. Christ spoke the same thing in Luke 21. We going to fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive into all nations. Christ prophesied about us being put on them slave ships. That's what happened to us. You see that? So Christ and Moses lived thousands of years apart. But the same spirit was at play. That's what we're talking about here.
No doubt.
That's the same one that Abraham was told. No force short.
Yeah,
it's your seed.
Gonna serve 400 years in the land that is not theirs. They gonna be afflicted. I want to go into this other source too, real quick. Talking about the Messiah. We only pulled one source so far for No, I ain't looking for it's another one. Not Luke. Is it Lucian? It's Pliny. You know what that Pliny was? Pliny the Younger. No, that ain't that. That's the J. Rogers. It's another cat I got up here. I want to go into him too, because we gotta give another witness that recorded not only about Christ, you know what I'm saying, but how they were torturing his people. This guy right here is called Pliny the Younger. Complete letters. Order this offline right here. I give you the dates when his father was called Pliny the Elder. This again is before the Council of Nicaea. Not saying you. I mean, we already don't want to quote, but that no, you know he wasn't invented then. But just for the record, so people will know that he's not a myth. Pliny the Younger was a Wikipedia dude or whatever. Now in here he has a letter to Emperor Trajan. Trajan Caesar, who was a Caesar. We got his history here in this book right here called the 12 Caesars. It's 12 Caesars that ruled over Rome. Right? Trajan was one of them. Now Pliny lived from Gaius Pliny lived from 61 AD, so before the fall of Jerusalem. to 112 AD. And he brags about how he tortures Christians, makes them deny Christ, all that. So right here, this is page 278. And this is him writing to Emperor Trajan. It says, "It is my regular custom, my lord," he talking to the emperor, "to refer to you all questions which cause me doubts. For who can better guide my hesitant steps or instruct my ignorance? I have never attended hearings concerning Christians." Grab Acts 11:26 too for me. Hearings concerning Christians, because we first was called, the Israelites were first called Christians by outsiders. Christ never called us Christians. The Most High never called us Christians. It was the outsiders who seen that we followed the Christ, and they started calling us Christians. Way before a religion called Christianity was even invented. They just saying those are the followers of the Messiah, Christ, right? So he's telling Trajan, "I have never attended hearings concerning Christians, so I am unaware what is usually punished or investigated, and to what extent." He jumps down. He says, "An anonymous document was published containing the names of many, those who denied that they were or had been Christians, and called upon the gods after me, and with incense and wine made obeisance to your statue, which I had ordered to be brought in together with images of the gods for this very purpose, and who moreover cursed Christ." He was torturing the brothers and them, and he made them deny Christ. He made them bow to the gods of Rome and to bow to the statue of Caesar. Why? Think about it. Why they going to that extent to get you to deny this imaginary character who didn't exist? Why? Okay. Check this out. It says right here. It says, "Curse Christ. Those who are truly Christian cannot." So those who down with him, it don't matter if you send them to the torture racks, they can't deny him. Trip this out. "It is said, be forced to do any of these things, I ordered to be acquitted. All these as well worshipped your statue and images of the gods and blasphemed Christ." Some of the brothers sold out. They seen the torture racks, the hangman noose, the crosses, the lions they was finna get fed to. They sold out. Like, nah, I ain't finna go through that, right? So they maintain, however, that all that their guilt or error involved was that they were accustomed to assemble at dawn on a fixed day, Sabbath day, to sing a hymn to Christ as God, and to bind themselves by an oath, not for the commission of some crime, but to avoid acts of theft. Thou shalt not steal. These brothers was following the commandments, right? It says brigadine, adultery. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Right? Because the day they teach you ain't got to keep the commandments of God. But the first followers of Christ bound themselves with an oath not to commit adultery amongst each other, not to steal from each other. None of that. Check this out. It says not to break their word and not to withhold money deposited with them when asked for it. When these rites were completed, it was their custom to depart and to assemble again to take food. So we always was eating, right? Which was, however, common and harmless. They had ceased, they said, to do this following my edict because they had outlawed those that followed the Messiah. So they made it in law. Look, don't anybody confessing him, down with him, and get put to death. All right. So after the edict, by which in accordance with your instructions, I had outlawed the existence of secret brotherhoods. So I thought it all the more necessary to ascertain the truth from two maidservants, two women, who were called deaconesses. Even by employing torture. See that? I found nothing other than a debased and boundless superstition. There go that superstition again. The followers of Christ believe what? Got out that grave, man. And that's amongst the records. They saying that amongst them it was a strange superstition they taught.
You know, they ain't never heard that.
Yeah, of course not. You never heard anybody resurrecting about the grave. Nope. But he show you that every night. When you go to sleep, you almost die every night. Sleep is a cousin of death. And you get up, your breath stank, smell like death, don't it? You be stiff. Don't you be stiff? You gotta stretch out. What's all that to be in your eye? That's what forms around dead people's eyes. It's called rigor mortis. You almost die every night you go to sleep. Then you get up and you resurrect. You get up, stretch out, brush your teeth, get that death up off you. Keep it moving. He's showing you the resurrection every morning you get up. You about died last night. Many people die in their sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
You almost die every night you go to sleep. You be that close to being dead. And then you wake back up, showing you the miracle of the resurrection. Just in your everyday life.
Right.
Wow.
Go ahead,
bro. Read that about him.